Y'all see my camera just disappear into the ether? That's because my computer was messing up. Anyway, hey everybody, it is me, the infamous Kiki, trying to get my camera set here as I go live. See, this is we live. Who, who? This is the review. If you, this is the keyboard, by the way. I was trying to, dahomey. Ooh, I was trying it. Your girl was trying it. Okay, look, whew, it's hot. Anyway, hello, I'm the infamous Kiki, and welcome to my channel. Here today, I am doing a review for the movie The Womanking that I watched last night, and I'm saber rattling today. You see my keyblade. If y'all watch if you play Kingdom Hearts, you know what this is. I do have a scimitar up there, but I didn't feel like bringing it down, so I just got the keyblade. Anyway, this will be the I almost said the Lion King, the Woman King movie review. A little bit of ranting, talk a little bit of history. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. I do reviews. I do live watches. I do a lot of things. I'm a groovy kind of chick. Let me make sure I turn my volume up, y'all. Turn my volume up. Make sure y'all can hear me. Hello there. I do movie reviews. I watch stuff live. I'll be watching Andor tonight or tomorrow. I don't know which one, but I'll be watching Star Wars Andor. I also watch Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, Love After Lockup. I do a 90-day kind of watch thing, sort of, because I kind of do like an overview of certain couples. I don't watch the whole show because I find it frightfully boring, darling. Anyway, so I got my sword. I'm gonna put my sword. Ooh, that movie got me hyped. So if you looked at the thumbnail of this video and probably thought, what in the world? First of all, I'm a very, very straight woman. So just in case, y'all didn't really understand. I'm a very straight woman. I'm not gay. I'm straight. I'm straight. I like men's. I don't like women's. I put that thumbnail is totally clickbait, tongue in cheek. But you see me looking down from time to time because I'm looking at my chat section. Let me see. I can't see. Glad to catch a moment. Oh my God. Hello, fabulous me. Yes, I am stoked about this movie. So like I said, sometimes you see me looking down, I'll have the live chat replay. And then I can't really see because I made it too small. But y'all know I'm here and I appreciate you. So y'all thumbs up the video, they get people in here. You comment, that'll get people in here. Help the algorithm and all that. I have a lot of frantic energy. But anyway, I am not gonna spoil this movie. This is a non-spoiler review. So I'm gonna talk about the movie. If you have not seen the movie, please go see it. I'm not gonna do a spoiler review. I'm just gonna give you guys my overview. This movie was produced by Viola Davis. It was directed by a woman. It was written by two white women. I know people had a problem with that. This movie, I didn't know that there was a boycott. Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know there was a boycott. Like, I saw it on TV, like not TV, on YouTube. Somebody was talking about boycotting this movie, and I was like, "What?" Okay, but I want to get. Let me back it up. Let me just get into this right now because, let me say something about these fake Twitter ass boycotts because I feel like it annoys me. There are people online who purposely post things on YouTube, Twitter, wherever, and just for clickbait, just to get a following, just to get attention, just to bring people to their channels or their website or whatever. Okay. I was trying to figure out why people boycott this movie. Has something to do because the movie is based on the dahomey warriors, real life women who were fighters. And apparently the dahomey traded in people. They touch on it in the movie, of course. They don't shy away from it. I thought it was going to be one of these movies where they don't talk about none of that, but they do. They get into that. So I'm trying not to spoil it, get too much into it. But I'm just going to say this. For someone who loves history, I'm a student of history. For someone who supports Pan-Africanism, okay, I firmly believe in us having a connection worldwide as Black people to Mother Africa. I'm a mixture of many different things. I've had my DNA done. I'm part Nigerian. I talked about it in my live stream. I talked about my DNA quest of genealogy. I'm Nigerian. I'm Mali, Bantu, a little bit of Cameroonian, here things there, but mostly Nigerian and Bantu, right? And I'm very proud of that fact. I've never been to Africa. I've never visited Africa. I want to go to Africa one day. I would love to. I'm all about Black people all over who don't live in Africa having options as to where they want to live, what they want to go, and what they want to see and do with their lives. So I feel like, there's people who are like, no, I would never go live in Africa. I know people that live there. I know people that go there often, have businesses in Africa. And that's cool with me. I'm just all about Black people having options. Regarding the slave trade and the fact that somehow there's this foundational Black Americans versus Africans or immigrants here, to me, the narrative, without sounding conspiratorial, to me, I would tell people to check the sources of who's putting out these narratives, because some of these people have an agenda. Some of these people are funded by people that don't look like us. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to go off too deep. I'm not going to go too conspiratorial, but there is a concerted narrative out there, or a concerted effort to keep us separate. That's all I can say about that. There's an effort to keep us separate. They don't want Jamaicans and Africans and UK Black folks and American Black folks for us to finally get together and be like, forget this shit. We're out of here, which we could. I mean, we really could. And I'm not saying that Africa has not done a lot, but a lot of their countries are struggling. A lot of their countries are war torn and poor. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. There's enough blame to go around when it comes to Africa and its problems. This has been going on since colonization started, okay? But the idea that people are boycotting this movie, I find a bit disingenuous. I find almost comical, and I find it, I'm going to say something that's going to rub people the wrong way. I hate it when Black people hold other Black people to some sort of standard that other people don't hold other people to, or we don't hold other people to. Yes, Africans were sold off to colonizers and Europeans. Yes, that happened. Did these countries realize what was going to await them? No. Their idea of slavery was like, an indentured servant. You might marry into the family. You'll be there for a minute. There's different levels all over the world of slavery. Slavery's been going on since the dawn of humanity. But chattel slavery, look it up. Chattel slavery is different than slavery that the Arabs were doing to the Black people, or the white people were doing to each other, or the Vikings were taking slaves and servants and stuff like that. Like I said, slavery's been going on in different forms all over the world. In some countries, you could barter your way out. You can work long enough and pay to get you and your family out. Some countries, a lot of Arab nations, you could have a wife and kids, and the slaves lived in separate quarters, and they had their own farms, and they gave part of the money to the slave owner, and they worked for him. Some slaves had wages. Some slaves served a certain amount of time. A lot of the women slaves were allowed to, they took them as concubines. They took them as wives. So the idea of chattel slavery is totally different. The dehumanization of the way that we were done is something that's never been seen ever again. Yeah, people have enslaved people. Did they think that people were animals? No. Like, people really thought that Africans were felt less pain, were bred to be beaten and used like they thought we were basically like animals. Other civilizations didn't really think we were like animals. They understood that we were humans and deserved to be kept with our families. I'm not saying the slaves weren't beaten or whipped or treated bad. That's going to go on in any situation. But the idea of the dehumanization of the Atlantic slave trade was something that African tribes had never seen, never known, out of sight, out of mind, didn't know what they were doing. It's different when you fight a war with the country and you take their women and their children and men and you force the men to fight in your army and you force the women that's during the spoils of war. We as our ancestors didn't fight a war with Spain or Germany or England or none of these countries. We didn't lose a war. We were basically invaded, bartered for, taken, given off, kidnapped, all of that stuff, and taken. Like I said, there's a big difference between African slavery, look it up, and chattel slavery, what was going on. They didn't have breeding plantations in Africa that I know of, or in the Arab nations. They didn't tie women up and have them just pop out kids and have men just come have their way. I don't mean to be graphic, but I think that there's a lot of nuance to the Atlantic slave trade. And to boycott this movie is silly because of the historical reasons behind that as well. Number two, there are companies, you can look them up, Google is your friend, that are still in business to this day that use enslaved people as commodities, use enslaved people to build their corporations up and their CEOs and people. And these companies have been, they've changed names. Some of them have really not changed names. So a lot of these these insurance companies, I would say, look there first. There are insurance companies out there that are still around today. They were around during the 1800s that made their fortune off of trading and commoditizing enslaved people. I don't see any boycott for those companies. I'm like, if anybody you need to boycott will be the companies that was their bread and butter for hundreds of years. I mean, the East India Trading Company isn't around today, but there's facets of it that were sold and bought off, and those commodities and that money and those billions of dollars are still being circulated today. I don't see people protesting. There are movies that have been made about Elizabethan era, about that touched on, enslaved people, just regular, I would say historical films that kind of glossed over slavery. It wasn't really, it didn't really, in movies I'm saying that were made a long time ago, like, 20, 30, 40 or more years ago. I didn't see people really boycotting that. There's plenty of historical movies that have been made that didn't say anything about enslaved people or the truth of it or whatever. I don't understand how we can hold this movie, which is historical fiction. I keep telling people all the time, these movies and TV shows you watch, like these medieval movies that people watch and they think they're real, even if they're based on real people and real tribes and real countries and real events, they're still historical fiction. They're not real history. They're there to entertain. If you want to know the real history, go online and learn about the real history. But watching a movie is not going to give you, it's not some kind of claiming to be some historical truth. They may say this movie's based on a true story. Based on a true story, not a true story. It's there to entertain. So to me, I went into this movie thinking, I want to see an entertaining movie based on real tribes and African things. And we haven't really seen an action African movie that was made in the United States. So that's what I came here for. Hello, everybody that's joined me. Hi, what pulls my teeth? My favorite. So I came into this movie not looking for history, but looking for entertainment and perspective. Okay. If you want history, go look up history. If you want to know about what Africans did to get us here, and all over the Caribbean and the UK, there's plenty of books you can read written by all types of scholars all over the world. But looking at a movie and wanting to boycott it based on What? I'm like, I didn't see y'all boycotting these other movies. Y'all wasn't boycotting Django. I mean, I don't. I'm like, nobody was boycotting Django. So, all right, I guess we're not boycotting that. I guess that's cool. I mean, y'all wouldn't boycotting Roots. Okay, I guess because it was written by Alex Haley. I mean, Roots is not a historical. It's based on sorta Alex Haley's ancestor, sorta. It's historical fiction as well. The book is historical. I read the book. I love it, but it's historical fiction as well. So I tell black people, you want to boycott something, go out and find us on the internet. Google's your friend. A whole list of companies that's still around today that either came up, got they come up, or survived, or made their fortune, or the people who started the companies made their fortune on enslaved people. Go look it up. Go boycott that. I just get tired of black people trying to hold black people to some sort of standard, just like the Queen thing. Before we get into the review, just like the Queen thing, how some people were upset with black people on Twitter talking about the Queen. They didn't care whether she was dead or not. They was gonna tap dance. They was gonna crip walk on her grave. Crip walk, what? Crip walk on her grave, right? Then there's some black people who are like, you're not supposed to say that and talk about that. But then the whole Irish Twitter went off. Went off. They was like dancing jigs. They was setting off fireworks in Ireland. And I'm like, see, black people, this is when you're free. Because Irish didn't give a damn what anybody said. They like, that's not my queen. They was chanting Lizzie in a box. So I was like, black people, what y'all mad for? What y'all? Y'all mad? Oh, y'all mad because other black, okay, because Africans was like, forget her. And people were criticizing that. But the Irish get to say whatever, and the Indians get to say whatever. Okay. Like I said, I just get tired of black people being held to some sort of, when they go low, we go high. No, we don't, Michelle. When they go low, I'm going low. I'm hitting you at the fucking ankles. Okay. That's my motto. Because sometimes you can't just, black people spend too much time trying to code switch and trying to be correct and make sure these white folks watching. I'm scared. I don't care. You be you. Be you. That's what the beauty of being a free thinking free people, that I feel like a lot of times black people, we just haven't made it there yet. Like we're getting there, but it's like we should have a freedom to be who we are. So basically, it comes out of this movie. I would have to say that the movie is paced evenly. Viola Davis acting was great. I said what I said about going gay because I've never seen so many women even darker than me. I've never seen so many beautiful, oiled, fit. There was some thickums in there too. Girl, let me tell you, there was some thickums in there. There was some thick sisters with the thighs. Like, I'm not gay, but I was like, I've never seen so many beautiful, beautiful black women, brown skinned black women, like all together. Because usually, when they have black skinned women, they always have like a few light ones. Not dissing the red bones. My daughter's light, bright, nearly white. So I'm not dissing none of y'all. Okay, I'm just saying that to see a whole group of women that are my skin color and darker, I was here for it when the movie started. And I went to go see it with my sister-in-law who's white, and she was like, yeah. And so it was just a beautiful thing to see. There's an actress in there that plays the queen. Her name is Jamie Lawson, and she's a newcomer. And I swear to God, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a woman this beautiful. Like, every time she on the screen, I was like, she was just so beautiful. The hair was done beautiful. The costuming is totally beautiful. Like, this, to me, this is when I went to go see Black Panther. This movie almost gave me that feeling. But Black Panther is different because the Black Panther is not real. It's a comic book. These are real people that actually really lived. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, it was, and not the lead of men. The men and the women were working together and fighting together, everybody. For their king, for their country. Men and women fighting together. It's not just women. Yes, it's on the warriors and everything. That's the focus. And Viola Davis just, she had abs. She was ripped the hell. She probably was on that treadmill every day, like working out. But yeah, and then it was the male warriors were in there too, helping, assisting their sisters. And I think that is an important message. I wish to God I could have my kids watch this movie. There are some scenes in there, it's not too graphic or too brutal, but there are some scenes in there I know my kids are too young to watch. But I would love when my kids get older to watch, especially my daughter. There are parts in the movie that had, that broke my heart. It had me really thinking, like, because they show people being caught and being enslaved, and I would love to see a sequel to this movie. But the pace in the movie is good. Viola Davis is good. The acting is good. The script is straight to the point. They leave just enough on the table for you to be like, man, it really should be a sequel. All the acting, the women in this show, most of them are African actresses, and the lead in character, the ingenue character, the young ingenue character, she did such a good job. It just, I mean, almost put me to tears. Like, I was just like, okay, this is good. Like, I want to be a warrior now. That's why I said I came out here with my keyblade. I came with my keyblade in my first. Look, this, hoo, 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 hoo. Yeah, I came for, I had keyblade. So I came for you. Anyway, you just pretend it's a big sword. I didn't feel like breaking out my scimitar. Don't judge me, shit. Okay? That scimitar on my wall is heavy, okay? Don't judge me. I say hello, Marsha. Hey, everybody. Just stepping up, say hi. Hi, y'all. Make sure you thumbs up. So, yeah, I thought The Woman King is definitely good for anybody to see, whether they be black, whether they be white, whether they be male or female. It is a must. It is a number one movie for a reason. Like I said, me and my sister-in-law, we both enjoyed it. And, it says not all the pageantry and the sci-fi-ness of Black Panther, but it's definitely worth a watch. And the people who want to boycott it, I think they're lying. I think people just post shit on the internet, but they still going to see this movie anyway. Because when we went to the theater, there was a bunch of people in the theater. There was mostly black folks, but there were some white people. Like my sister-in-law, she's white. There were some white people in the back. It was a bunch of white. It was a whole group of them that they liked the movie, was clapping, and it's a good movie to see. I wish, when I looked at the demographics of the movie, like the viewership, it was mostly primarily Black folks and Latinos, and then Caucasians was like 19%. I wish the support that we give for movies with just predominantly white casts, that other people would come out and give us support to. This country is 60% white. So it's like whenever they make a movie, they have to figure that into it as well. It has to have enough crossover appeal to audiences here and then also internationally. And so when I say audiences crossover appeal, I mean it has to appeal to white folks as well. That's just how the movie business works. And I think some people forget that. But I have to say, like, after watching this movie and seeing how lush and beautiful the continent looks, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, I was like, this is, absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know if they filmed in the continent of Africa, but if they didn't, wherever they were at was gorgeous. It was just gorgeous. So I've never been to the Caribbean, never been to Africa. I would love to. Like I said, I'm not a hardcore Pan-Africanist, but I do believe in us going back to our roots and being proud of where we came from. And I think a lot of people are so stuck on uh, slavery and enslaved and all that period because number one, it was horrific. And number two is because that's all we see in movies. That's all we see is slave stories. Now, I like 12 Years a Slave and Django and Roots like the rest of y'all. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love my historical movies. And I love my movies about Martin Luther King's and Selma. I love all of that. But there needs to be other stories besides those two time periods. Black people, we lived in the Victorian age. We lived in the 19th. Black people, we've been around since dawn of time. Let's put it that way. Since the dawn of damn time. And so I'm tired of seeing in just two time periods. It's either the 60s or the 1800s when we enslaved. That's the, like Hollywood, that's the only thing y'all could think of. We had a whole life before we came here to America. We had a whole civilizations of Black folks. We had a whole thousands of years of civilization. And so I would love for all these African Americans who are in the movie industry, who are in the entertainment industry and the sports industry, to pool their money together and start telling our stories. Let me tell you something. I am happy, and I'm not hating on anything about having a black mermaid. I shout out, I support all of that. I am happy they got some black elves and a black dwarf and got a brother on House of the Dragon. But these companies are doing it because they need viewership. They need to make money. They need to get as many viewers as they can because there's so much competition in the entertainment realm. There's so many streaming channels, so many shows coming out all the time. Boom, 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 boom. So they're not doing this out of diversity or some kind of wokeness or whatever. I'm like, do you really think these executives and Hollywood executives are white males? Do you really think they really care about women or minorities or anything? Or they don't care about that. They care about money. They need eyeballs on their product. They're trying to sell a product to you. So if they got to put a black mermaid to get viewership around the world, they're gonna do it. They understand being in marketing. Again, I took marketing in college. That's my minor is in marketing. Marketers, they look at demographics and numbers and what sells and what doesn't sell all day. They don't just throw something at them. I know it seems like to the average people that these executives just kind of throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. No, these are corporate decisions. These are people sitting around tables having meetings all the time about what TV shows are going to get produced, what things are going to get pushed, the marketing shares, what things are going to sell. They understand that the demographics in this country and around the world are changing. I tell people that Europeans are 18% of the population worldwide. Now, when TV used to be just TV in America and Canada and maybe a little bit of Mexico, whereas 65% white folks, yes, but they understand that now they're marketing to the world. They're like, well, shit. The world, be honest with you. I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade. I don't hate white people. My kids are biracial. But I'm just being honest. The world is not mostly white. 18% of the population. Europe is little. The whole world, Africa, India is growing. China and Europe, populations are shrinking. I've said this over and over and over again. Look it up. European folks ain't having babies. Same thing in America, same thing in the UK. They're just not. Their population is shrinking. In Japan, in Korea, they fighting to get people married and have babies. Japan is like in a almost a panic because their numbers are shrinking because people are not having babies. People are not getting married. People know this on both ends of the political spectrum. Black folks know this. White people know this. Corporations know this. Acutely aware of this. That's why you're seeing a push for diversity. It's not because of the goodness of their heart. It's capitalism. So my point is to all the people who are capitalists and you like this capitalist system and we live in this system, deal with it. Deal with it. There are going to be more black people in shows. There's going to be more changing characters to black. It's just coming because they understand that they're selling products worldwide, and worldwide people are brown. That's just it. People are brown, people are Asian. There's more Asians, Southeast Asians, East Asians than in Europe. So the population in Africa is exploding. People are traveling more. People are living in different places. It's coming. So they're figuring out they're going to have to tell different stories. And to me, like I was saying, instead of just making black elves and black mermaids, which black people didn't ask for. I tell white people this too. Black people didn't ask. No one online, no one was on Black Twitter going, you know what? We need to push to have a black Little Mermaid. Not one black person wanted that. Not one black person was pushing for that. Not one black person wanted that. It's cool. I support it. But this was not a cause. Black people weren't like, yeah, black elves. Yeah, motherfucker. Like, no, black people weren't really pushing for that. They put that in there because they're trying to get eyeballs. So my whole point is I celebrate all that. I love diversity, but I want more of our legends and stories to be told. So the black mermaids and elves, Africans have their own legends and their own stories. And there's black writers out there that have their own fantasies. Afrofuturism. Octavia Butler is one of my favorite authors that has a myriad of books that could be TV shows and movies. I've said this over and over again. Octavia Butler. So we need to tell our own stories. Or Hollywood needs to. Somebody, as long as they do it tastefully, I don't care who tells the damn story. But I would rather see a bunch of women run around dressed in African villages, dressed in African clothes, speaking African. I would much rather see that than just, okay, here's another medieval movie. Here's another Civil War movie. Like, that's been done to death. Show me something different. And audiences, if it's done well and acted well, will respond accordingly. So the idea that we are telling our own stories and things that you don't see, like I said, we don't see African action movies. I'm gonna tell you something right now that struck me today. That hit me real hard as I was driving. Your girl Kiki was driving. I got my keyblade right here, it's clanging around. I have lots of weapons. I have my keyblade. I have knives. I have scimitars. I have katanas. I have broadswords. I want a chainmail. I got, like lightsabers. Out of all the weapons I have, I realized it hit me today. I don't have any African weapons. As a matter of fact, for someone who loves weapons a lot, I don't even know what African weapons are. So I ask people out there who collect weapons and swords and military stuff, do you know what are African weapons? What weapons do Africans use in the past? Spears, bow and arrows, longbows. Like I know all the Cavalier swords from Great Britain. I know the French swords. I know a little bit about the Arab swords. I know a lot about the Asian swords and bows and arrows and all of that. I collect those, but I thought to myself, I don't have one damn African weapon in my house. Why is that? I like anime. So of course I'm going to know what a katana is. I liked a lot of Bollywood stuff. So of course I know what certain Indian weapons are. I watch a lot of medieval stuff as a kid. Of course I have broadswords and a helmet and chainmail. All that medieval shit. Okay, but then I think to myself, why do I like all that medieval shit? Because I watch TV shows and movies. I watched King Arthur as a kid. I read about King Arthur as a kid. I saw movies and TV shows and animation about King Arthur and the knights and all that stuff. All that stuff that we learn about through medieval history as Black people, but we don't know anything about ancient Black warriors, African warriors, what kind of swords they use, bows. Did they shoot bows and arrows? Did they have spears? Your girl Kiki, don't know anything about none of that. And I felt deeply ashamed in my spirit. Like it hurt me that for somebody who loves Black people and Black things, that even me, has fallen short and felt ashamed today. So that's what happened to me today after watching this movie. And it took this movie to really have it sink in about, and I knew about the Dahomey warriors. I knew about them. I saw a documentary years ago. But again, it just hit me. It hit me real hard today to think that Miss Weapons, who loves all of that shit, I don't have an African shield. I don't have an African sword, an African spear. I don't even know what that shit even looks like. Before I saw that movie and I saw those badass swords those women were carrying, I'm like, oh, I want one of those. Like a cross between a badass machete. And to think that, why don't I know that? I'm Black. Look at me. I'm Black. How do I not know my own people's weapons? That's the shit. That's the thing about living in this country when everything about your history is not represented in media, in history, on TV. That's what happens. When the crowning achievement of entertainment is Black Panther, which was created and written by white people. I appreciate it though. But it's like, wait a minute, I miss history. When the pandemic hit, I had to go through and start watching all Black history channels because I realized I don't know anything about Africa. I don't know anything, barely. I can tell you British history, French history, German history, African history. I'm like, oh, how do I not? I was ashamed of that too. And I remedied it. I started watching and reading everything. I'm like, how do I not know the history of my own people? And so to some people, it's not important. But to me, who loves history, loves genealogy, that's very important to me. Like I get on my kids about that, about knowing their history, knowing their ancestors. And here I am preaching to them, but then I didn't know. So, this is really going to spark me on a discovery. And I hope it will do to you too. You don't have to fall in love with this movie But I just want this movie for people, all races of people, that maybe this will spark a discussion about enslaved people and what they went through. Maybe this will spark some way where you go on the internet and start looking up things yourself and getting truth and knowledge, because knowledge is power, y'all. Knowledge is power, especially for us Black folks. Because in schools, we don't learn anything about Africa, just that people were enslaved and they're brought here. But there's so much more, so much more to that. And I try to remind my children all the time, they're like we weren't just slaves sitting around. Okay, we're slaves. Like, we had our own homelands, and it's just nice to see in this movie, a Black king and his queen, and them, going through that, and going, and people just living their day-to-day lives. Like, I just never see people in Africa living their day-to-day lives. Some surviving, some thriving, some struggling, just whatever it may be, like that. And to me, people take that for granted when they see themselves in media. And they take that for granted when they see themselves all the time. I used to tell my late husband that all the time. When you watch a show, count how many Black people are in the show. Look in the background, see how many Black people you see. Learn to do that every time. Every time you watch a show, look and see how many Black people are in the main cast, how many Black people are in the background, how many Black people. And he learned to really understand, like, wow, I just watched this show based in California and LA, and I only saw 3 Black people in the whole show. all the people in the background were mostly white. I told him, I said, that's how you counteract racism. I tell people, you watch the shows, watch movies, and just start counting. Just start looking. Because I do. I start looking, and my kids do. They watch a show and be like, there ain't no Black people in this show? Like, there's no Asians? Count the Asians if you want to. Count how many people are in Asia. I want everybody to get some. I want everybody to be represented. There's more to Chinese and Korean people than just kung fu and karate movies. They love, they romance, they live, they die. That's why I watch K-dramas, because it's more than just ancient China. And Korea and China is 2 different countries, 2 different histories. Korea has a rich history that hasn't been really represented here. It's either Japan or China. It's like Korea just kind of gets forgotten, except for BTS. But BTS, shout out, I love them. But there's more to Korean. They kind of just get lumped in with Chinese and Japanese, and they're not. They're totally different people. And so I'm all for everybody getting theirs. I'm all for Indians, get people in India, you get yours. If they want to come up with an Indian mermaid, hey, bring her out. Chinese mermaid, well, why not? I'm all for everybody getting theirs. I ain't selfish. I ain't stingy. I like RRR. RRR. I compare RRR to, if you haven't seen RRR on Netflix, me and my kids watch that. You're missing out. But I compare the womanking to RRR. It's an over the top kind of movie. It's historical fiction, but it's great. It's great. I mean, it's directed good. It's dramatic. It's over the top dramatic the way they do it in Indian Hollywood, and it's great. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. But it's great. But it's not taken seriously. It's not a historical piece. It's entertainment, but it gets you thinking, like, Indian people were occupied by the British, and they really went through some shit. And they have a sense of pride when they watch movies where their people are conquering colonization and they're fighting back. And in The Woman King, it's the same thing. There's parts where it's sad, but then they come back and they fight back, and you're like, yay. And at the end, you have a good feeling. I watch a lot of these slavery movies, and even at the end, you kind of have an uneasy feeling, like, well, dang, they escaped and they up north, but damn, they're gonna have to go through racism up north too. What kind of ending is that? It's kind of a bitter, it's like an ending, like, yay, they got away, but then you're like, oh man, then they're probably gonna be washing somebody's drawers. I mean, I don't know if y'all understand, like, how I feel when I'm be watching these movies, these movies about people in slavery, and then they get away, and I'm still like, but they got away to what though? That's the cynic in me. But this movie actually left me at the end with a feeling of, like, yes, like, what, satisfaction, triumph, intrigue, like, okay, what's going to happen with this person now? I won't ruin it. But it will leave you with a good feeling of triumph and a warrior spirit. And And like I said, I just want us to tell our stories. I just want more stories about ancient Africa and the people in Africa. I just want more. It had me longing for more. I don't care if it's a movie about men, about women, both. I don't care what kingdom. It's about warring kingdoms. We see France versus England versus, Germany, and they're fighting and they're at war and they have armadas. And I'm just like, okay, great. Yeah, okay. I've seen that 1,000 times. I've seen the story of Queen Elizabeth done in Becoming Elizabeth, Elizabeth 1 and 2, this Elizabeth, that Elizabeth, Virgin Queen, Kate Blanchett, Dame Judi Dench, all them heifers. Like, I didn't see all them heifers play the same Queen Elizabeth. God knows, okay, she was a great queen. But I'm just like, can we talk about the Ethiopian queens? Can we talk about Queen Candace? Can we talk about some other kind of queens? Like, can we talk about some other rulers? King Henry VIII. I love Henry VIII. Killed all his wives and put them on the chopping block, and he, and did all that. Okay. We've seen the whole TV shows. Great. Can we move on? I'm tired of British history, so I just want something a bit different. Okay, here we go. Somebody trying to spam me, but you know what? I'm just going to remove this person and put them in timeout, and then I'm going to report them as unwanted spam. Okay. I had to put somebody in timeout. Now, Ramona G. Hey, Ramona G. And AK. Hey, all my people are here. See me over here reading. See me read my computer. Look, y'all. Yeah, I'm reading AK. I just like I said, I'm just happy to see. I just want our stories to be told and not for us to just blackface up established white fairy tales. In other words, like Little Mermaid is cool, but Lord of the Rings is cool. Game of Thrones, of course, is very cool, but I want us to tell our own stories. We have our own legends and our own stories that I don't know anything about. So I want that. I want that for my children. And I want to see some more dark-skinned people together, all dark-skinned people. Y'all gather around. Come on, y'all, get together. Come on, huddle up together. You black-skinned folks, come on in. Let's get in the huddle here. Like, I'm with y'all. Like, I'm a nice brown. I'm a brown, okay, but I'm still on the dark end. I got a dark sister soul. But it was just lovely to see, like I said, a bunch of oiled up, beautiful brown-skinned women. Lashana Lynch, I don't look, like I said, I'm straight. But if Lashana Lynch show up at my house and not, who is it? Hey girl, it's me, Lashana. Oh, hey girl. Oh, I loved you in our movies I done seen you in. Hey baby, what you doing? Ooh, Lashana Lynch, girl. Hey. That's my recreation of what would happen. It would go down because Lashana Lynch, okay, girl, she can get it. Okay, she can get it because that is a beautiful black woman. She can get it. I'm like, do I have a crush on Lashana? Yeah, I'm like, oh, I do. Now I want to go out and watch everything that she was in because I didn't see that James Bond movie, but she's in that James Bond. If I could just see them thick thighs and that booty just moving around in that James Bond movie, just moving around. Like, you know what? Like I said, I just might. If some chick looking like Lashana Lynch I would be like, you know what? I'm straight. But spaghetti is curved when it's wet. So, let me stop. I don't know. You're like, it's like she can get it. She's a beautiful black woman. I'm telling you. I mean, I had to question my sexuality for a minute. I'm telling you, the whole movie, I was like, who? Some beautiful, curvaceous, lovely black women. That's all I can say. Like, I was ready. I was like, I just might. But, like I said, I would highly recommend this movie. Don't listen to what everybody I know that's seen it really liked it. Really, really liked it. And for me, for a history person like me and for a pro-black person like me who's all about diversity and different things, I really, 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 really like. And like I said, I want everybody to get a turn. I want them to just to create the most badass Brazilian movie. Like I'm waiting for that Brazilian Civil War movie. I'm waiting for my Hispanic brothers and sisters in Central America to get their turn. And there's all kinds of shit that went down in history in South America and Mexico. I want to see it all. I want to see the indigenous people in Canada. Come and get it. I want them to come get it too. I want to see and hear new stories about different places and people and things that I've never even thought of, histories I didn't even know. So I'm here for all of it. I like I'm not a people person, but I like learning about other people. So that's my thing. And I really like learning about my people and the people in the Caribbean and I want to learn about them. I don't know much about people in the Caribbean. I don't know any Caribbean people. I'm in Texas. There's not a lot of Caribbean people here. There's not a lot of islanders. They don't really come to Texas. They like, hell, we escaped the heat anyway. Why the hell we want to come to Texas and just be in more heat? So, I don't know a lot of Caribbean people. I don't have any Caribbeans in my, well, I do have Caribbeans in my family. My dad's dad, anyway, it's a long story. But their last name is very Jamaican and supposedly have ancestry in Jamaica. Supposedly. I don't know about that. But it's a long story. But I want to learn about Caribbean people and people in Barbados and Nassau and what they do in them damn St. Kitts Island, them beautiful islands down there. I like to see some islands. I want to know about Hawaiian history, which I know a little bit about, and it's very fascinating. They had a whole royal family. Did you know Hawaiians had a whole damn royal family, y'all? There's so many royal families. I want to know more about Black eunuchs. There is a Black eunuch in this movie that's played by a gay man. I'm assuming I just assume he's a gay man or transgendered man or something. And he was dressed in this purple robe and he looks absolutely positively beautiful. It's purple robe, shaved head. The only eunuchs I know are the ones in Korea and Japan and in China. Those are the only eunuchs I know. But apparently, I got to read up on it tonight. There's eunuchs all over the world in different religious orders all over the world. So I was like, I didn't know Africa had eunuchs. I was like, what? There's a eunuch? I was like, okay, there's a religious holy guy that got his stuff snipped, and he was very effeminate, and he worked with the king, and that changes the whole game. That was like, okay, that changes the whole game for me. How you can see the diversity in Africa, how people try to make it before the colonizers brought their religion and brought themselves to Africa. There was so much damn diversity in Africa. There were whole tribes of women. There were tribes of men. There are certain tribes that men could go off and go be with men, and women can go off and be with women. So people try to spread these false narratives. Yeah, that's how it is now because Christianity came. But pre-Christianity, people, there was different kind of gender roles in some of these civilizations that we don't quite really understand or know how it worked. But it's nothing like the gender roles that we have today. So yeah, I'm just here for all this. And this movie has really opened my mind and my spirit, has really invigorated, I feel like, my African spirit of my journey of me keeping on doing for my people, learning about my people, passing my knowledge on to my kids so they can be proud to be German and Czech and Mexican and African, because my kids are all those things. And they're proud to be all those things. And they're very honest about all those things. And so I just, pass it on to my kids. They can pass it on to their kids. And so they don't have to feel like, there's something shameful about being African or being around Africans or around immigrants. My kids don't feel like that way at all. And so I just feel like sometimes like we're a lost people sometimes, and that we fight against each other when it shouldn't, when our real enemy is out there. You know what I'm saying? Our real enemy is real. And I feel like we spend way too much time hurting each other and fighting each other. And instead of unifying and finding that we are a beautiful people with a richness in spirit, with a fabulous history. We are the progenitors of the human race. Human race started in Africa. And our DNA is in everybody. And I just realized that people that, there is no Black and really no white and really no Asian, that we're all just different shades of brown. because we all came from Africa. So deep down inside, we're all Africans. We got, some of us moved to colder places, some of us moved to hilly places, some of us got lighter skin over time. But deep down inside, we're all really coming from the same source, and that same source is Africa. And then that white people or anybody else shouldn't feel removed from that, or this has nothing to do with me. It should have things to do with everything. I don't. I watch every culture and realize that every culture has a piece of Africa in it. When I watch shit, every culture has a piece of Africa. Because if you watch cultures long enough, you will see like, oh, they do that in Ghana. Oh, well, they do that in Ireland. Okay, well, they do that in China too. The dances, the clothing, all all of these things. There are so many similarities for us all over the world that it just can't be coincidence. The pyramids, how in South America they have their version, and there's Egypt. There has to be a reason for that. Even music, the similarities between African music and how we blend it in with Arab music, and blend it in with drums and all kinds of musical instruments that are all over the world, but really originated in Africa. So it's not a coincidence that a lot of our cultures have kind of blended in. We're all mixed in at one time, and they've taken and passed down things generation to generation. And like I said, I see Africa in everything, and everywhere, every Europe, I see Iceland, everywhere. I see Africa everywhere. So that's my review. I'm gonna watch Andor live, I think tonight. I don't know. I have to get something to drink. And I appreciate everybody coming here. Made Black women look undesirable. I'm just reading some of the comments now. Someone said, to me, it made Black women look dynamic and powerful. Not at all. Like I said, there's the king, played by John Boyega, and his queen in his queen's court. And I think people see whatever they want to see. The king has many wives, and they show up throughout, and it has a court of he meets with the women as well. And these women are gorgeous. These women are laid and slayed. This movie, to me, puts the emphasis on that every person has their place. There are going to be women who like women, no matter what you do. There's going to be women who want to fight. There's going to be women who want to sit in court and be pretty and marry the king. There's going to be average women who just want to work and farm and live their lives. This movie shows all facets to me of womanhood and what it means to be a woman. And I tell people every damn day, the gender roles, even the way we love, how we relate to each other, where'd you get it from? That's the colonizer. So I hate to get Pan-African and preachy, but people need to reevaluate, where did we get certain things from? It's not us. It's not African. It's not even how they did it in Britain before Christianity. When Christianity came, it changed the game. Not just in Africa, but in Asia, that it spread a little bit to there, but they have their own sense of culture intact. But the countries that were colonized, and the countries where Christianity really spread heavily, it changed the notions of men, women, gender. Religion changed a lot. And I don't think that gets acknowledged enough, that yes, it was colonization and slavery, but religion changed a lot of things that people do. And when you look at countries that aren't heavily Christianized, they have different notions of gender and masculine and feminine. I guess that's the way. Because if anybody knows anything about anime in Japan and China and South Korea, they have something called flower boys. They like their men really pretty. Okay. When I watch some Korean shows, the men is gorgeous. I mean, when I say gorgeous, I mean gorgeous in a masculine yet feminine way, because their definition of masculine isn't buff and big and I'm going to punch you and fight you. The beauty of East Asian culture is so beautiful. It is such a delicate definition of masculine that is different than in westernized countries. And I love it. I love the fact that you can be a really gorgeous, well-cut, manicured man and no one's calling you gay. No one's saying you're metrosexual. Honey, that's just how it is. Them BTS members, my boyfriend was like, they all look like girls. I'm like, honey, that's the aesthetic that's been going on for thousands of years in that part of the world. They like the more delicate, the more rich you look, the more attractive you are as a man. So just because here the definition of beauty is this color, this shape, tall, that's because over the years that's what is socially acceptable to that particular to European culture. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that before all of that, before we were Christians, before all that, there was different definitions of gender and woman. Like I said, there's whole tribes of women who lived together. They had kids, they had husbands, but they would just live separately. And I tell people polygamy is big. We were talking about Usman and Kimberly about how polygamy is good, and in a lot of African countries that is totally rejected here, or having sister wives, and people do it here too. But I'm just saying, culturally speaking, it was a cultural norm all over the world until Christianity showed up and kind of like you got to have one wife and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to push polygamy, trust me. I'm not trying to push no marriage, but I'm just saying that to say that the movie, I know you're not, I know you guys aren't saying that, but just for anybody who has criticisms about, well, the women don't look feminine, what's feminine? Who's defined that? Who's told you that as a woman, you got to be 6 foot tall and weigh 120 pounds? It took me decades for me to realize that that aesthetic of beauty is not attainable and not possible for me, and neither should it be. It took me going through history and looking at paintings of African women to understand that we're just built different. And there's nothing, and we've been made to feel like we're not feminine enough, we're not delicate and dainty, and we don't wear this. And that's a European standard of beauty. It's a European standard of femininity. That when it comes to us building our own communities and building our own things, you need strong women. The women have been the backbone of every major civilization on this planet. If you do not have people having babies, taking care of babies, your numbers you will diminish, and your empire will fall. And people and men understand this, women understand this, people know this. And so when you have a strong woman and you have a good woman in your corner, whether that person is your mate or your sister or your best friend or your sister-in-law or whoever it may be, you can never go wrong with a good person in your corner, period. But the idea that women, they're attractive, those are some attractive women. Those women were sexy. Those women were attractive. Yeah, and they were allowed to be sexy without being sexual. And I thought that was also something very unique. But I watched the movie and was like, yes, sister. I'm like, I could see, like I said, I'm a warrior. So I'm not a wilting violet sitting in the corner like, that's never been my personality. That's never been the personality of women in my family. So I'm thinking like my stock of people would be warriors. I would be the stock of people. What do they call it? The chromati in Jamaica that started all these slave wars in the 1800s. There's a group of people, Africans, called the Akan or Akatan. I think in Jamaica the Europeans called them Cromarty, and they like started rebellions all over. You got to read about it, but they started rebellions in the Jamaican islands, and like it got so bad that the Europeans didn't want to take their people to be slaves because they were very, very rebellious. And I was like, that has to be, I have to have some of that blood in me because I have a rebellious spirit. But yeah, I just, I tell people, I don't know people's definition of beauty and standard of femininity. But like I said, I'm here for it. I'm here to see all elements of that. I'm here to see some love. I'm here to see some, like I said, I personally don't have black love in my life. My man's white, but I applaud and celebrate black love. I'm like, yes, okay, because we don't see it. I applaud Asian love. I applaud any kind of love, but especially seeing Asians with Asians. You don't really see that. Hispanics with Hispanics. You don't really see that. I'm all for anything that we don't see in media. I'm all for something new. I just get tired of saying the same things over and over and over again. And like I said, and I sat through Xena Warrior Princess. Thank you very much. You people out there talking about warrior women. Damn it. I've sat through Xena and Gabrielle, 5 seasons of Xena Warrior Princess. I got a chakram. Or I'm saying, I don't know what you got. You can't see it, but I have a chakram over here on my wall. Xena be like, y'all remember Xena? Y'all watch Xena? Child, Xena was my show. Nobody complained about Xena not being feminine and sexy. They only do this shit with black women. That nothing irritates me. Only black women. Like you can have all kinds of shows with Amazons and warrior women and warrior queens in Britain, and no one's like, oh, those women are not feminine enough. No one calling European warrior queens, they're not feminine. They're like, yeah, they're awesome. They're great. Black women carry a sword, all of a sudden we're not feminine. What? I'm like, what? Okay, well, they have Greek Amazons. I didn't see women in Greece who were quote unquote Amazons, which really they were really African. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue. But there are women who carry swords and build arms. They show them in movies. I mean, no one's calling Wonder Woman and whole Themyscira, oh, look at those unfeminine women. No, who's calling Wonder Woman unfeminine? Wonder Woman's a hot bitch. Like, oh, she hot, she's sexy, she carried a sword, she kicking ass. Comics is full of kick-ass women that are mostly Caucasian. No one's calling them unfeminine. A black woman pick up a sword, all suddenly we're too masculine. You can be both. You can pick up a sword, kick somebody's ass, go wear a dress, get your freak on with your man or your woman, put the makeup on. A warrior knows when to put away their sword. Someone told me that a warrior knows when to put away their sword. Look at Keisha dropping knowledge today. A warrior knows when to put away their sword. I'm like, yeah, a real warrior do. But it goes both ways. I'm just vibing with y'all today. Let's see. Yeah, She-Hulk. She-Hulk was a hoe. She was in the She-Hulk comics. She was always partying and drunk and having sex with people. Nobody was like She-Hulk was. I just feel like sometimes as black women, we can't win. Like, we're damned if we do, we damned if we don't. Like, if we try to be vulnerable and try to be soft and feminine and try to be, then we're accused of being overly sexual and hypersexual and we're showing too much. But then white women can get on the stage and get half naked and dance around and everybody's like, ooh, that's hot, that's sexy. Black women do it, you a hoe. And then if we toughen up and we try to, be who, then okay, you're too masculine. Then if you have black women who are too religious and they're demure and they're Muslim and they're religious, then it's like you a prude and you a square. So I was like, okay, as black women, just be you, because either way we can't win. No matter what you do, you're either a hoe, a square, or you're overly masculine. So I'm like, like either way, we can't win. So it's like, okay, so just in the end, just do you and be you, black women, just do you. I've learned to do me a long time ago. I've always been a breaker of chains. Kiki, breaker of chains. I'm gonna break the wheel. That's my goal, is to break the wheel like Daenerys tried to. But yeah, I just feel like black women, period, we can't win. And let me tell you something right now. There are certain things going on in the black community between black men versus black women. I don't know. I don't affect that because, again, I don't have a black man, so it's a different vibe. So I'm not dating. I'm in a long-term relationship. Some of y'all know who Dick Grimes is, and so I just hear things and see things on the internet about people, about this like war of the sexes. Let me tell you, people, I said, America is very insular. America's like this, like a horse with blinders on. Do you know in China, they complain about the same thing, that the women in China aren't feminine because they're educated? Do you know in Korea, they complain about the same thing? They complain about the same thing in Iran. They complain about the same thing in India, about educated women. I tell people this shit is not just with the black community or just women in America. People complain about this worldwide. So it's not just here. There are women rejecting marriage worldwide. Marriage rates are down in a lot of fucking countries. A lot. When women have options for education and they have options to be educated and independent, more women are choosing that in these industrialized nations. That's just part of industrialization. If you want a rich nation and the more high tech you become, the more capitalistic you become, then that means you have to have educated workers. Educated workers mean more people in college. More people in college, you can't just have the men in college. The women has to get out there and they have to work and they have to be productive and add to the society as well. You add all that together, That's a recipe for marriage rates and birth rates being down. They see it in China. The more China becomes more industrious and spreads to Africa and spread all over the world, they need more education. Women are out there getting more education. They're going to college and choosing not to marry. South Korea, some of the most educated people in the world are in South Korea. Their job market is very cutthroat. And so there are more women out there working. Any industrialized nation that where there's opportunity for women to become educated, independent, women take it every time. So that tells you something. If women aren't choosing marriage and are choosing more to be independent, then that kind of tells you something. That when offered a choice, women, a lot of these women, they've interviewed women. You can go online. There's a YouTube channel called CNA. C is in cat, N is in Nancy, A. And they have documentaries about like the Asian world, Singapore, Vietnam, China, South Korea, all about that East Asian world. And I watch documentaries all the time because I like to know what's going on with people. And they also have documents about, India and Iran sometimes. So I want to know what's going on with women over there. And the men over there complain about the same shit that the men over here complaining. So it's not a black thing. It's not a black woman thing. These Chinese men are complaining that docile Chinese women that these American men seem to want. No, honey, the Chinese women out there, they're some of the most educated women in the world. Women in South Korea are some of the most educated women in the world. And the birth rates are dropping dramatically because women are like, women are getting married less and less and at later and later ages. And so the stigma of divorce is high over there. So women are just like, fuck it, I ain't even going to bother getting married. That's the same thing that goes on here. And like I said, all these westernized notions that people thought would just stay over here in the West, yeah, it's spread in other countries as well. So I tell people, don't let people try to tell you black women are doing this and black women are doing that. I'm like, honey, they men are complaining about the same shit worldwide. All races, all ethnics, all countries worldwide. They're all complaining about the same thing because women don't want to have babies and they're not choosing marriage as the first option. So they don't want women to have choice. That's just what it is. Because a lot of women are like, if I have a choice, yeah, I'm just going to have a career. And that's just the truth, and it's hard to have a baby and a career and a husband. That's hard. It's hard work. Somebody who's done it, it's hard work. And then now these days, it's harder and harder for somebody to find somebody. That's why people are looking internationally to people in other countries besides trying to get a green card. But people are looking at people in other countries because it's hard. It's becoming increasingly harder and harder for people to find somebody. So that's what's going on. I tell people, anytime you think your little end of the world has all these issues and problems, just look overseas and see what they're doing. Because in Britain, they're like, we don't like British women. Okay. I watch 90 Day, if you watch 90 Day UK, 90 Day Fiance UK, the UK men complain about the same shit, that they don't like UK women because they're not feminine enough and they're much too aggressive and they're not really feminine. I'm like, really? Is this what men are on now? I'll be cracking up, child. I'll be like, oh, the same shit that men here complain about? Oh, okay. Okay. Good night, Ramona G. Yeah, hence Roe v. Wade, overturned. The quality of men is very poor these days. It is hard to find. Like I said another one in my life. I got friends that are on dating lines, all different colors, and they are all single and different age groups, and they have a hard time finding somebody. They just have a hard time. I could tell y'all one of these days I'm gonna do a live because I used to be on dating apps too, and I have horror stories. My friends have horror stories. If they give me permission to tell them anonymously, I'll change the names and stuff. But they have horror stories. Like, I mean stalkers. Like my friend right now. Oh God, I hope she's not watching this. Girl, I'm sorry. My friend right now met this dude online and she has a stalker. Like she even told the dude that she moved. How somebody call you and you be like, I don't live here. I moved. She told the dude was like, I'm going to come over. And she's like, oh, I moved. I said, damn, girl, that's quick. I said, and he really was dumb enough to believe that. This man was dumb enough to believe that. He's like, oh, where'd you move to? And she was like, oh, I got to go. Click. And so he keeps calling her, right? And so she blocked him and he called her from a different number. And then she replied, she's like, I don't know who this is or who you're trying to get a hold of, but the person you're trying to get a hold of don't have this number no more. Stop calling me. So she sent a text message and lied to the dude saying, I don't know who you're trying to get a hold of, but the number has changed. Like she was like, I just got this number. I don't know who you are. I was like, really? Is it this dude that she met once? They didn't even do anything. They met once 4 months ago, and then he's stalking her for her whole life. I told her, I said, girl, they climbing in your window, snatching your people up. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband, because they're raping everybody up in here. Okay. She's like, that's not funny. I mean, it's not funny, but then it is, because it's so bizarre. Like the bizarre things I've heard about people trying to date is so crazy. Like, it's almost like a movie, like something you would see in a bad dating, like rom-com. But like, this stuff really do happen. Like, women really do get stalked. You really meet men who their idea of conversation is LOL and WYD and hi. And then if you don't respond back to them, why aren't you talking to me? Because that's not conversation. LOL and what are you doing? It's not conversation. I thought we all understood that as grown people, but apparently some of these men, a lot of these men do not know how to conversate, or they want you to carry the conversation, or they're not that interested. I don't know. And we're talking about grown men in their 30s and 40s. So it's like, yeah. To me, my whole model now is like, it's cheaper to keep them. I'll stick with the man I got. I'll stick with Dick Grimes. We're good here. We're gonna walking dead it out. We're gonna walk it out. I'm like, we've had our issues, me and Dick Grimes, and some of y'all know, especially AK knows. But it's like, we've been together for 5 years, so it's kind of like, I think I'll just work on my relationship, because the alternative is me being aggravated by some dude that is not going to appreciate me. It's hard out here. It's hard to find a quality, but especially for me. Like, the older you get, the harder it is, because I'm like 50, so there's that, and it's hard out here for an old broad. And then on top of that, I tell men all the time, the more successful you are and the more independent you are, the more men are intimidated, and they just feel like inadequate, and they don't, it's hard to find somebody that's like at a certain level. A lot of people that my age that are at a certain level are married. So, and I'm not trying, that sounded really stuck up and snobby, but it's like, I'm not dating no broke dudes. They got to have their own house, their own car, because I have all of that, and I have kids. So, and I don't really like dudes around my kids. So I don't do like, fake stepdaddies and all that. I don't do that. I'm like, oh man, I have a man, he has a child, and I have 2 kids. And, we don't commingle our families, just because of the fact that, number one, we're really busy. And number two, it's just like, I wouldn't do that to my children. My children have a firm understanding of who my boyfriend is, but they never will look at him like he's a daddy. Like, we don't do family stuff like that. We just don't. Like, and that's because of me. Like, my mindset is like, I try to keep my love life and my kid life separate, like, all the time. I've been like this forever, ever since my husband passed. And so, I try to keep that separate, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find someone real, someone genuine. And like I said, for some of us, it's equally hard. I'm a hard person to be with, y'all. Miss Kiki, I'm not nothing nice. I'm very blunt. I'm very outspoken. I said before another, I'm very political. So being with me is not like it's not like you're going to sit around and watch like cooking channels all day. Like, if you do that, that's fine. But with me, I watch a lot of politics. I watch a lot of news. I complain about things. I used to be a protester, so I'm always complaining about some shit. I'm always like, the bourgeoisie state and the Supreme Court and the white supremacy and the colonizer. Like, to be with me is like, you got to hear that at least once a day. You got to hear me going off on something. Like, I'm gonna leave this damn country, because I've always said I want to leave. I'm stacking up my paper, because I really want to leave. And so I was like, I'm gonna take my kids and get the hell out of here, and just wait till the elections. To be with me is like, You really got to be like, right on, sister. Go ahead. You got to be my cheerleader, or you got to be in the trenches with me. So cheerleader or trenches. So it's like you can't be a bystander and be sitting back like, oh shit. Because I'll be like, right, right. And then politically we have to agree because, we can't. Sometimes my boyfriend's like, can we just have a normal conversation? I was like, what's a normal conversation? You want to talk about House of the Dragon? He watched House of the Dragon. So we're like, okay, we'll talk about that. And I was like, you cannot believe this misogyny. Imagine being with me. You level of misogyny and the patriarchy in Westeros. Fucking Westeros. Just imagine being with somebody who's like that all the time. Like I laugh a lot and I joke around a lot, but just imagine, you can't even watch House of the Dragon without me like the patriarchy, motherfuckers. She wanna have sex with Sir Christian Cole, and let a bitch have sex with Sir Christian Cole. Drink the abortion potion, damn it. That's me all day. Oh. AK says about knowing what you want. You shouldn't be going through wrong nonsense relationships. Right. I'm almost 50. What I'm gonna do like going through some Kim shit? Kim and Usman. Like I couldn't date no dude that was like 30 or something, and then I have to go through. Because then you got to worry about somebody's cheating on you. And I have my own emotional insecurities. I have my own insecurities like everybody else do. But I always worry about somebody cheating on me. I've been cheated on before. And it like destroyed my soul. Like it tore me up. Not my late husband or anything, but it just it hurt me. Like it affected me. To this day, it still affects my decisions and what I do in my relationship. And people can forgive, but they never forget. Like I tell people all the time, you can forgive, but you can't forget. But I mean, it's hard for me to trust somebody, and it's hard, even though people are like, Keisha, you're so funny, and you're so smart, and you're so talented. But I still don't believe that that's enough to keep somebody from cheating on me because I've been all that, and I've had someone hurt me. So I've been talented and smart and funny, and my head game's good, and my sex is on point. And I just, I'm just gonna be honest. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest. Okay. It's on point. I have to pat myself on the back. Yeah, I got this tongue for a reason. But I mean, and I did all the things that I was supposed to do in a relationship. I was faithful, I was kind, I was loving, I was up cooking breakfast I was up there cooking breakfast, flipping eggs and bacon and making steak and cutting up a steak. Like I did all of that. And I still got done dirty. I did everything I had to do to be good to this person and love this person and support this person when they needed me. And they still did me dirty. And it hurt and it blindsided me and it hurt me and it scarred me even to this day. So now I'm like, really don't be like, fuck, I ain't trusting nobody after that. If you do everything that you can and you think that like you're the perfect girlfriend and then somebody still cheats on you, it's like, well, shit, there ain't no hope for nobody. I mean, that's how I feel. There ain't nobody's safe. Like I literally did everything that I could as a person. And then this is right after my husband died. So I was in a fragile state of just wanting someone to love me, so desperately. And then all the things I did when I was a wife, I transferred all that over to this person. And I trusted him and he told me he loved me and all that. And even to this day, when I talk about it, I get emotional because it hurt. It really did hurt, y'all. It still hurts me to think about it. It still angers me. And I wasn't mad at the girl. She didn't know anything about me. Like he lived like a whole nother life with somebody else. And the chick that he was with, she was busted and disgusted. I was like, this, if you don't cheat on me, at least fuck. I mean, first of all, if you're going to cheat on me, who you going to get? God? I mean, you're going to go from me to God or Jesus? Like, I don't know. I'm divine. But anyway, but he cheated on me with some chick that was not even on my level. Like, this chick was like busted and disgusted. Like, she was some chick that wasn't even cute as me, who worked at a fucking gas station somewhere or some bullshit. She was like some scallywag. And I'm like, you cheated on me with that? What? Like either you just stupid or you must be on drugs. So, I was like, are you fucking stupid? I guess a little bit of both. So, I was like, yeah, it's like I didn't understand it. Like I really didn't understand it. And I hurt to this day. I still hurt. I still I still hurt. I still hurt, y'all. I still hurt. So, um, like I may forgive, but I don't forget. Like I still in the back of my mind think like, damn, like and so it messed me up so bad that like right after I broke up with him, like I started working out a lot. I lost a whole bunch of weight. Like I was like, because I thought, well, maybe I'm not pretty enough. So I just, even though it was silly, but I directed all my energy to that. So I started working out really, really hard, and I lost a whole bunch of weight. Like I was dangerously, like I would go to the gym and pass out, y'all. Like I would be at the gym and I would just pass. I went to the gym and like in front of everybody at the gym, I passed out. Like boom, I just hit the ground. And the guy rushed over to me and they're like, "Oh my God, ma'am, are you okay?" And I like got up and I was dizzy because I was literally eating like 800 calories a day and working out like for hours, like because I was so manic. I didn't know how to direct my hurt and energy to anything else. I had kids to take care of. I had work. I couldn't, I was in school at that time. I mean, my husband had died. Like I tell people, like, you know, being in grief and dating someone like a year after your husband died, well, no, it was more than a year. It was a couple of years after my husband died. And it's right after I had my daughter. And so I was reeling from that relationship ending, my daughter's father. And then here I got in a relationship, my daughter's father, that relationship. Oh, I hope he's not watching. But that relationship was semi-serious, but not really. But and sorry. Okay. But anyway, I want to talk about my daughter's father. But anyway, but it was a serious relationship, but not that serious, at least not for me. But so the most serious relationship I had, I got into it, and at first I wasn't serious at all. I was like, okay, we're just dating, but then eventually it fell into a serious relationship, and I love yous being exchanged and all that. Um, so yeah, and I was hurt, and like I said, I still hurt. I still think about that in the back of my mind. I still think about that. Like, why was I cheated on? What did I do? What did I not do? And I asked him. I said, and he was like, nothing you did or didn't do. It was me. I fucked up. And but I was like, but why would you do me like that? Knowing that my husband had died, knowing that I was very vulnerable emotionally at the time. It's like, why would you do that to me? When I had so much to give and so much love to give you, and then I gave everything of me, and now I can't give that to anybody anymore. Like a piece of me died, really kind of fell off when he cheated on me. And he knows it, he knows it, and he understands, and he knows it. I was like, it'll never be that good ever again in your life, and no, in no man's lifetime, they'll never get it that good. My husband got it really, really, really good, but he deserved it. My husband was there for me, stood by my side and didn't cheat on me, and you know, but to have somebody that had it that good, I'm like, no man will ever have it that good. They'll never have that much out of me, which is sad. Which is sad because when a piece of you dies because someone hurts you, it's very sad. It's like a mourning. It's like you're losing something that you can't get back. And I feel like I'll never get it back because deep down inside, I'm that person. Like I'm a Cancer. Like I want to take care of it. I just focus all the energy toward my mom and my kids now. But I don't think I could ever love a man um like that anymore. I don't. I'm too. I'm definitely afraid to. Um, like definitely. Like I had to go back to grief counseling. It hurt me so bad. And then I found out other things about this person, things that I didn't know, and I was stunned. I was just stunned. Like I was like, I didn't even know this person at all. I didn't know this person, and this person claimed to love me, and I was like, really? Like this is love? Like that's not love. And like I said, I just mourn the loss of the piece of me that was like, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a caretaker. I take care of people. And then now with men, I'm more like, I gotta protect, I kind of protect myself. So I kind of like, are scared to really show that vulnerability with a man. And that's just me being real. I'm being real tonight, y'all. And that's just the truth. Even with my boyfriend, he knows that like there's always like kind of like, hold on, wait a minute, player. There's always a reluctance or a standoffishness, or there's always just a reluctance for me to be on board 110% like I was in my marriage, or or I've been in other relationships before my marriage. I was much more gung ho, much more all on board. Now I can't be all aboard with nobody. I just feel like if I do this again and somebody hurts me again, this will break me. Like it'll probably fracture my mind, because at that time I thought my mind was fractured. Like I really like had like panic attacks, stress attacks. I was hurt. Like I've never been that hurt in my life. Like I've had guys cheat on me. I've cheated on dudes. I've never had no one hurt me like that. Like, and I told them that. I said, no one's ever hurt me like that, and nobody ever will again, ever in their fucking life. Nobody ever will. I'll make sure of it. And no, and I'll never want my kids to have anybody hurt them like that either. And especially when somebody's vulnerable. That's just not right, man. That's just not right. But you know, I learned to survive it and move on in my life. But I tell people it's hard out here. It's hard out here for a pimp, and you're trying to get the money for the rent. And all the hoes of junk shit, you ain't knowing, man. Y'all hear me? Hard out here for a pimp, and you're trying to get the money for the rent. All the hoes of junk shit, and you're trying to get the money for the rent. Yeah, I'm like, whoop that trick. Get him, whoop that trick. Y'all remember that? You remember Hustle and Flow? My husband loved Hustle and Flow. I know it's in porn bot again. I'm like, baby, I'll show you some porn. Yeah, I'll show you. It's hard out here for him. I hid them permanently. I didn't get some money for the rent. You remember Hustle and Flow? Oh my God, I love Hustle and Flow. Like my husband loved that movie. Speaking of husband, my husband was ratchet. He loved Hustle and Flow. He like we went to the theater and saw it twice. Like he had it on DVD. He'll watch it. I come on, what you watching? Hustle and Flow. I'm like, why? And then my husband had like all the Tyler Perry movies, like all the plays, not the movies, the plays. The stage plays. He would be like, babe, let's go see Tyler Perry in Dallas. I'm like, honey, like my husband was a Tyler Perry stan, like for real. Like he would be like, oh, Medea, You still never watched the whole movie? What was it called? What was that? What, Hustle and Flow? You never see Hustle and Flow all the way through? I sat through Hustle and Flow many a times, and my husband like, and like I said, those fucking Tyler Perry the plays, y'all. My husband would sit there on a Sunday and just put it in. Like he'd watch football and he'd be like, ooh, it's Tyler Perry night, babe. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, babe, sure. Yeah, Terrence Howard was in Hustle and Flow. You know what I'm saying, man? Like my husband had the soundtrack. He loved the fucking soundtrack. He would just be like, whoop that trick, get him, whoop that trick. I'll be like, oh my God. But my husband, he loved Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was his favorite group of all time. Like Bone Thugs. Like they came in concert. We had to go see him in concert. And then like meet me at the crossroad. Like he fucking that East 99 CD. He would play that bitch on loop. I'd be like, honey, can we not listen to Bone Thugs? Can we get off and get something else? He'd be like, it's 99, it's 99. My husband was a true hood rat from the hood. Like he's from South Dallas, so that's the hood, by the way. And my husband was white but hood. Like he loved all the hood movies. He had Friday. He watched Friday over and over again. I'm like, honey, this is what we doing. I can't do hood movies. I can't do hood movies, y'all. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do the hood movies. The bot is stalking me. The bot wants a piece of me. I don't know 69 mega. Do I need to look that up? Uh, it says 84% has already found love with us. So maybe they want me to get on the motherfucking dating app. That don't even look like a dating app. That looks like a porn app. Like that ain't no dating app. These women is naked. These men's is naked with their ding dings out. Like that's how you end to be. I know the bot is stalking me. It's like, come on, baby. It's like, come on, baby. You know you want it. You know you want it. I was like, Lord, I like the bot. You can stalk me all day. Bring them, get my numbers up. But anyway, I gotta watch Andor. This live has went on way too long, and we've drifted. Let me get my key blade out. God, we've drifted. Let me see. We've drifted. We've drifted. I want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody, Ramona G, AK, what pulls my teeth, all, man, let me tell you, all of the Geo Malik people, you people be holding it down for a bitch. Y'all always show up. Marsha came by and said, all the Geo Malik people, all the reality TV people, y'all be, see this shit? I got this shit for my birthday a long time ago. This my ex bought me this. My exes give me my keyblade. Anyway, y'all always be holding it down for Keisha, for Miss Kiki, and I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go out here and slay some shadows. Little shop. One of the let me tell you, one of the background girls is Tisha Campbell from Martin. Gina from Martin. Yeah, she was little shop of horrors. You know, we did Little Shop of Horrors when I was high school. I was one of the background girls. Look out. That's how I know the song. So, but yeah, I was one of the back. I was in choir when I was a kid. Like I can sing y'all when I really want to. You know, when I can sing y'all. SANG sang when I really want to. One day I'm gonna get on here and sing for y'all. Y'all gonna be like, what? Because I was in choir for about 6 years, and I did like musical theater and in high school. That's a long time ago. But I gave all my singing up for writing. I was like, I'm gonna be a writer, I'm gonna be a singer. I don't be a choir, and I left choir. I was like, I don't be a choir no more. I'm tired of shit. Yeah, Pam too. Yeah, Pam was in it too. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. It was Pam. Sure was. Little shop. I used to love that movie as a kid and watch the girls in the background. I'd be like, hey. I was like, they look so cool with their beehives, and I had a 1960s thing. When I was a little kid, I was a weird kid. I was really into like 1960s everything. Like I watched Bye Bye Birdie over and over. I tried to get my kids to watch Bye Bye Birdie the other damn day, and they looked at me like I had lost my damn mind. My daughter looked at me and she was like, what are we watching? I was like, Bye Bye Birdie. She's like, if you've not seen Bye Bye Birdie, there is a dance sequence. Well, there's like a telephone one. I was in Bye Bye Birdie in high school too. And there's a telephone sequence that I absolutely love. And then there's another song he sings, got a lot of living to do. We got a lot of living to do. There are men. I want to be a ring-a-ding-ding. Oh my God, don't get me started. Bye Bye Birdie is I told you my kids looked at me like I lost my fucking mind. I was like, look, kids, are Dick Van Dyke. My son knows who Dick Van Dyke is. He's like, is that Dick Van Dyke? I was like, yeah. I said, see, son, you can watch Bye Bye Birdie. I love Bye Bye Birdie. I saw it on stage too when they came to Dallas too, when the Broadway show came to Dallas long time ago. And I love Bye Bye Birdie. I like Elvis. I saw the Elvis movie, y'all. I saw that too. Me and my sister-in-law, we go to the movies once a month. We have like our little date because we're two boring bitches. But we have like a date night once a month. And so we went to go see Elvis too, and I love Elvis, even though Elvis is problematic, but I like Elvis. I don't give a damn. I'm allowed one problematic fucking thing, and Elvis is my one problematic thing. Every black person gotta have one problematic thing that you're like, people are like, well, Elvis is problematic. I don't care. But Elvis, I don't care. But I don't care. There's no logic reason talking to me about Elvis. Like, it's just, Keisha, you know he stole black people. Look, I fucking know, okay? Cultural appropriation. Leave me the fuck alone. If I like the king, I like the king. I want to go to Graceland one day. I really like Elvis. Like, when I was a little kid, I loved Elvis and the Beatles. Like, I loved Elvis and the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix when I was a kid. So it was like, leave my childhood alone. Let me do me. And let me have my one problematic thing. And my problematic thing is Elvis Presley. So I know. But I love Elvis. I love his swag. I love his style. I thought Elvis was gorgeous. Still think Elvis is gorgeous. I love that movie. Me and my mom, it's on HBO. Me and my mom watched it and she liked it. We saw Bullet Train. I like Bullet Train. My mother would really love. I can't wait to Bullet Train come on because my mother would love Bullet Train. It's her kind of movie. And I love Brad Pitt. So yeah, we did see some good movies in my sister-in-law. We be doing it up. We do it big. We got to eat, have a few drinks, get liquored up, and then go see a movie. It's supper time. Come on, come on. That was my shit. It's supper time. Oh, that was my jam. Oh, AK making me reminisce. Make me want to watch these movies all over again. But let me get out here so I can go watch Andor. I'm going to come back later on, like around 10 o'clock or so, I guess, and watch. I think there's 3 episodes of Andor. I don't know how long these episodes are. I don't know if I'm going to watch all of them. I don't know. People are saying Andor is good, y'all, but I didn't like Rogue One. Everybody know I'm a die-hard Star Wars fan. Star Wars is my first love, my biggest love. I know more about Star Wars than I probably know about my own children. But damn it, Rogue One can suck it. I did not like Rogue One. I did not like Solo. I didn't even like Force Awakens and all those. I mean, they were okay. My kids loved it. Now, I saw it because my kids enjoyed those movies. My kids did not like Rogue One. They thought it was boring. I thought Rogue One, someone told me the other day I need to go rewatch before I start popping off at the gums. But I'm going to rewatch Rogue One someday this week and see how I think. Because when I saw it in the movie theater with my son, both me and my son were like, my son fell asleep. He thought it was boring as hell. There's a Star Wars renaissance in my house right now. My son spent gift card money to buy like 3 lightsabers, like real ones. I don't understand what's going on. He put his costume on the other day. I said, honey, the convention's not until next month. So what do we do? My kids wear costumes all year. Like when I buy a costume for Halloween, they literally wear it all year. They'll do costume weekends where they'll just dress up like whatever, because my kids are my children and they're nerds like me. I have costumes, my kids have costumes, but yeah, I'm gonna try to rewatch Rogue One, y'all. I'm going because I'm not excited by Andor. Some people say it's really good. Some people said it's all right. I mean, Cassian Andor was not a character. I was just like, oh, I'm so excited. Oh, Cassian Andor. Oh my God, girl. Yes, he did. Oh, no, and then they talk about in the show that they don't have any like established characters, like previous characters, just like all brand new people. And I'm not sweating that. And it don't have no Jedis in it. So I'm upset because I'm a Jedi snob. I'm here for Star Wars, for lightsabers, for flips, for Duel of Fates. Like, I know what I like about Star Wars. And I like good versus evil. That's the shit I like. I mean, I understand the rebellion and the political stuff. I like that too. But like, I like the prequels. I love the prequels. I'm a prequel defender. I stood in line for those damn prequels. But out in the heat, me and my best friend, my former best friend, may he rest in peace in heaven, we stood episode 1, we stood outside for like an hour and a half in the heat. So, but I'll check out Andor and I'll watch it live. I have to get my snacks ready. I take a shower and do all that. I'll catch you on Twitter by AK. And thanks for stopping by. But anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all later. And y'all, thanks for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Thank everybody who did the thumbs up on this damn video. If you're rewatching this video, sorry for me rambling on. Sometimes we go off on a tangent here, but that's just kind of what happens on the lives. If you have not seen Woman King, go watch it. 2 thumbs up and a slap on the ass. That's how we're doing the ratings around here. And you join me for Andor. And like hit the notification bell so you'll know when I'm going live. And I just say that you guys have a good evening, good night, good day, wherever you're at. Peace, love, and soul. Bye.